Sometimes I've just got to know what happened. So going to take a quick tour of my front yard and side yard and see after 2 consecutive days of a hard freeze, we're talking below 28 degrees Fahrenheit for several hours in the night. How are things shaping up in the yard? Let's go look. Here is my pindo palm, and it has been a godsend because it has provided some protection. This morning, my husband went out. He knocked ice out of the bird bath so that the birds that are hanging around have a source of water. The temperature actually dropped below 27 degrees, and now it's up headed to the 50s. So my dwarf firebush have dieback, significant frost damage, which doesn't surprise me. This is how they looked last year. The roots are well established and they were protected by some mulch. So I will be cutting those back in April or whenever I see some green coming up. And it's astonishing to me how they can grow to this height, which is at least 3 feet, in just one growing season. By the late fall, they are full of berries. Now these berries, I don't know how valuable they're going to be to the birds. Earlier, they were bright red, but they are looking a little shriveled. The Mary garden, which is part of the side garden, flower stalks, which have this beautiful blue Salvia called Mystic Spires, extremely popular Florida-friendly plant. So the dieback is in the flower stalks, but the basal area is doing well. I'm going to leave these stalks on them as a protection. I'm always amazed how hardy these gardenias are. And this plant is very well established and was covered in frost. This is a transplant of a stem that broke off when I was planting this cultivar of a Yaupon holly. That holly is growing beautifully and still has red berries, so it's providing what I had hoped for, which would be some food for our overwintering birds. Camellia Yuletide has already bloomed. It's a fall bloomer. Actually, around December, it puts out beautiful little red blooms with golden centers. Lady ferns along here. You might be wondering, why are these plants still here and not crispy? Because we had such a freeze for this area of North Florida. And I think part of it is because of the protection around them. To the back, I have a row of Florida anise, native plant. It's a moderate grower, and it will grow up and hide the privacy fence. It likes a shady area, partial shade, and that's providing some of the protection for the ferns. And then I've got a live oak, which it still has leaves, so it's providing overhead protection in this area. Moving along the side yard, what's happening with my trilliums, because these are winter blooming, and oh, look at that. They are up in partial shade right now. They're planted at the foot of the live oak. I did a video on those last winter, so check that out. You can see how well they grow in this North Florida area. And if you're in cooler zones, there are many other varieties of Trillium. They are a wonderful woodland winter surprise plant. Filling out the other part of my side yard, more Florida anise. I do like this plant. It is easy to grow. I mean, very low maintenance. I planted a native firebush. This is the top of their range. They like it a little warmer if they're going to be green all year round. We're zone 9A here. The cold and actually the cold wind, it's still blowing now. This plant will do the same as the other dwarf firebushes. Come spring, the soil has to warm up, but it will come back. And I will cut it back to about a foot, and it will produce this amazing growth, which is over 6 feet. Here I am next to the plant, and it goes up from here. So I'm at 5'2", and this plant is easily 6 feet. It can go 8 feet, and in some cases even 10 feet tall. Wonderful addition. Was a huge hummingbird magnet this year. The shrimp plant that was blooming so gloriously here, this plant is not cold tolerant. So it succumbed to 2 nights of deep freeze. You can see what little is left to remind us that this was a shrimp plant. I have a video on this wonderful plant. It is a hummingbird magnet. Taking a quick review of the side of my Mary garden. Those are those golden or yellow asters that are a native plant to the eastern United States. And coreopsis, these are natives. They will be blooming in the spring and then again in the fall. My pollinator garden over here on the side, always amazing to me. Blanket flowers are so hardy and they're still green. St. John's wort is recovered, and I have a variety of coreopsis, black-eyed Susans. Many of these are annuals, but they're great reseeders. Then these are blue curls. I'm just going to leave them as protection for this whole bed area, and I'll be pulling them out in the springtime because these are annuals, but they're such a prolific reseeder. Formosa azaleas are doing well, and I'm looking forward to their blooms, which will be coming probably in March, maybe beginning of April. I was concerned about my camellias. The camellia buds are still intact. They're not dark brown and dead. Fingers crossed for a beautiful bloom season. These are pink and they are gorgeous. I have my deer fencing up, which has protected them. My oak leaf hydrangeas died back because that's what they do in the wintertime. Beautiful dark maroon color. Deer love them, so that's why I have 3 of them that are surrounded by deer fencing. Area that is special to me is my circle garden. Texas sage drops some of its leaves. It's going to grow 6 feet, and in the spring it'll come out. Dwarf wax myrtle, native plant for Florida. Blue plumbago. I knew that this plant is not frost tolerant, and so I knew that it would die back. It did last year. I'm just letting the roots be protected and leaving it as is, and I will be trimming it back in March. And it comes out around April, but it blooms like crazy and it attracts gorgeous butterflies, especially the sulfurs. This is a Walter's viburnum densa. I love this plant. Big fan of Walter's viburnums. And this plant will grow to 6 feet. And it gets the name densa because look how dense it is. It hasn't dropped the leaves. These plants are evergreen. Rosemary, hardy. Reviewing my starry rosinweed, basil leaves, and in the spring I'll just cut it back. I'm saving this. I'll come out and cut some of the longer pieces off so that I have some hollow stems left for nesting cavities for the pollinators. Echinacea. All of this looks ratty, but the basal leaves are alive. And there's a volunteer hybrid of coral honeysuckle. As a hybrid, it's just does not seem very happy here. Unlike its cousin across the way, I'll probably replace the hybrid with another native. That attracts hummingbirds. It's blooming, really hardy for this area, a big winter. If you're thinking of a vine that you can train on a trellis, or you can let it grow on the ground or up a fence or something, this I would recommend as an addition to your garden. Gardening bed, I consider my dry, sandy area, moss verbena ground cover, can get singed by frost, big pollinator attractor. It is not native, but it is Florida friendly. Some people consider it a weed, but I love it as a ground cover. Calumet is hanging in there, kind of persnickety, so I just leave it alone. It's got a real green part to it, so the plant will survive. The one that's really great is the false rosemary, Controdina canescens right here. It's been blooming from late summer. There's still little tiny blooms on it peeking out. So this plant for me is a big winner. So all in all, I'd say good result. This is what you can expect in terms of dieback after a hard freeze. If you want to check videos that I have on Gardenia, I'll put the links in the description below. And don't forget to subscribe.